Swaminiti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagara Gramatarine. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Gopi Paranadana Dase Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Paditanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham bande Shri Gurudhanatarinam yatkripatamaham bande Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Kathanchana smrite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vismrite viparitam syat Shri Chaitanyam namamitam. Okay, so we were in parenthood. These are some of the symptoms at the end of Krishna's Kaumara age. That's where we are. You could say somewhere in the middle.
Sri Krishna Prabhuji here only. While Krishna was in the middle, was a little yeah,
of his Kaumara age, you know.
Little low, was little grown up and was taking care of the small calves. I think this is it.
So we finished when Krishna was in the middle of his Kaumara age, or?
Yes, Prabhu, we had read this paragraph.
His clothing was lit, and he had a knot around his waist, holding the hood of snake. In that dress, he used to take care of the cows. Yeah. Sometimes he played cowboy boys about the same age. Yes. And the buffalo horn bugle. Yeah. Well, it's interesting that it says there that sometimes he played on a flute made from the leaves of trees. A flute made from leaves. These are some of the symptoms of the end of Krishna's Kaumara age. Okay, let's go on to the next paragraph. Any volunteers to read? You can yourself read it.
Yes.
Or Suchismita Mataji, you wanted to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read.
Okay. Okay, let's divide it into both of you. So let's start with Rukmini Hariseni Mataji, and then Suchismita Mataji, you can read the second half.
Sure.
Yeah.
When Krishna was a little grown up and was taking care of the small calves, he would often go near the forest. And when he was a little bit late returning home, Nand Maharaj would immediately get up on the Chandra Shalika, a small shed built on the roof for getting a bird's eye view all around, and he would watch for him. Worrying about the late arrival of his little son, Nand Maharaj would remain on the Chandra Shalika until he could indicate to his wife that Krishna, surrounded by his little cowherd friends, was coming back with the calves. Nand Maharaj would point out the peacock feather on his child's head and would inform his beloved wife how the child was pleasing his eyes. Mother Yashoda would then address Nand Maharaj. See, my dear son, whose eyes are white, who has a turban on his head, a wrapper on his body, and leg bells that tinkle very sweetly on his feet. He is coming near along with his Surabhi calves, and just see how he is wandering upon the sacred land of Vrindavan. Similarly, Maharaj Nanda would address his wife, my dear Yashoda, just look at your offspring, Krishna. See his blackish bodily luster, his eyes tinged with red color, his broad chest, and his nice golden necklace. How wonderful he looks, and how he is increasing my transcendental bliss more and more. When Krishna, the beloved son of Nand Maharaj, steps into his Kaishore age, although he becomes very beautiful, his parents still consider him to be in the pagan age, even though he is between the ages of 10 and 15. When Krishna is in his pagan age, some of his servants also accept him as being in the Kishore age. When Krishna performs his childish pastimes, his general practice is to break the milk and yogurt pots, throw the yogurt in the courtyard, and steal the cream from the milk. Sometimes he breaks the churning rod, and sometimes he throws butter on the fire. In this way, he increases the transcendental pleasure of his mother Yashoda. In this connection, Mother Yashoda once told Mukhara, her maid servant, just look at Krishna, looking stealthily toward all sides and slowly stepping forward from the bushes. It appears that he is coming just to steal the butter. Don't expose yourself, or he may understand that we are looking toward him. I want to enjoy the sight of his eyebrows moving in this cunning way, and I want to see his fearful eyes and beautiful face. In enjoying Krishna's attitude of stealing butter very stealthily, Mother Yashoda experienced the ecstasy of maternal love by smelling his head, sometimes patting his body with her hand, sometimes offering blessings, sometimes ordering him, sometimes gazing at him, sometimes maintaining him, and sometimes giving him all good instructions not to become a thief. Such activities are in maternal ecstatic love. An important point to be observed in this connection is that the childish propensity of stealing is there even in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore this propensity is not artificial. However, in the spiritual relationship, there is no inebriety to this stealing propensity as there is in the material world.
Okay,
Thank
can
you.
you just stop there for a few moments? See, the word inebriety means a state of uh, intoxication, a state of madness, actually. So basically, it's trying to say that when Prabhupada uses the word inebriety, in different places you find this word inebriety. So someone asked me this question recently: what does it actually mean? So uh, basically, it means that things in its normal condition. So stealing in the material world is an abnormal condition. That is the idea. Whereas, and because it is an abnormal condition, it has its attendant consequences, negative consequences. So, I mean, well, you could say even positive consequences. As far as material consequences, both positive and negative are all negative. Basically, it means there's no material consequences. Uh, I mean, like, yeah. Uh, so, in a normal condition of life, when someone acts in their normal condition of life, that is considered as the perfect state, which is free from, just like when someone is sick, right? So all their activities are, you could say, unwholesome. They can't eat properly, they can't walk properly. Everything is just it's permeated by disease. Whereas in the So to be not permeated by disease can only happen when one is serving Krishna in pure love. So as long as one is not doing it, one is always permeated by disease. So that is what is referred to as the inability. It's a form of madness. Now, one beautiful thing about Krishna consciousness is, in comparison to different systems of spirituality and religious thought, is that here we have, as Prabhupada would say, we have the name of God, we have the address of God, we have the likings of God, we have the parent, we know who the parents of God are, we know who his friends are, and things like that, So this kind of detail, where is it available? It's not available anywhere. And even in the Vedic scriptures, it's very difficult to find every single detail about the personality of Godhead, about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now it is explained that when Kalayavana went to the cave where Muchukunda was sleeping, so sorry, so when basically Krishna was trying to run away from Kalayavana, it looks like it's a very bad situation. Of course, Krishna was doing it in a very interesting manner. Every time he would think, I've got him. So Krishna would run ahead. And then Kalayavana would miss Krishna. So like that, Krishna was running away. This is Supreme Personality of God. Who can understand his pastimes? But he wanted to show his mercy to Muchukunda. So when the Supreme Personality of God enters the cave becomes very effulgent, and then he arranged the pastimes in such a way that whoever wakes up Muchukunda will get burned to ashes. So this Kalayavana wakes up Muchukunda, and then Muchukunda looks at him and he burns Kalayavana to ashes. So it's explained that when he sees Krishna after that, it's so much effulgence. Krishna is the source of the Brahma Jyoti. So obviously, the cave was filled with effulgence. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, in his comment on that 10th canto of that verse, where it speaks about how Krishna's effulgence illuminated the cave, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains that the word Guha means not just the cave. The word Guha could also refer to the heart, it also refers to the heart. So when Krishna was present in front of Muchukunda, all the darkness in his heart also immediately dissipated. So this is exactly what is happening to us in Krishna consciousness. That by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he glorifies Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with the verse in the beginning, in the invocation. He chants Kaviraj Goswami is a poet, so his compositions are exquisite and very beautiful. So he says, Anarpita charim chirad karunayavatirna kalau samarpayatam unnata ujjvala rasa swabhaktim shriya hari purata duti kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spuratva sachinandanaha. Which may that Supreme Lord, whose form is resplendent like molten gold, who has come to give the Unnata Ujjvala Rasa. What we are studying here is the Unnata Ujjvala Rasa in the Nectar of Devotion. May that Lord, the son of Mother Sachi, dissipate the darkness in your heart. It is because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that today we are sitting and hearing these wonderful pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. What qualification do we have? We don't have any qualification. Usually it takes millions, billions, trillions of birth, even to just practice of Krishna consciousness, just to attain the yogis, the sages, the devotees. It's not easy to even get a glimpse of Krishna's lotus feet. But because of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our hearts have become illuminated with Krishna's pastimes. our dark hearts have become illuminated with Krishna's pastime. So whenever we read the Nectar of Devotion, we should think how fortunate we are. How fortunate we are. What takes millions and billions and trillions of lifetimes is just happening instantly. Such is the glory of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who by his effulgence as resplendent as molten gold is dissipating the darkness of our hearts, due to which we are able to relish these pastimes of Krishna. Just give me a second. Sorry, there is someone at the door. I have to just respond. Okay. So how fortunate we are that the son of Mother Sachi has made us all very fortunate. And through the efforts of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the Lord Chaitanya and his followers, it's there by their mercy that we have the great fortune of hearing about these pastimes of Krishna, which are accessible only to the residents of which are experienced by the residents of Vrindavan, the highest abode in the spiritual world, has now become accessible to all of us, whoever, Papi, Tapi, everybody. So who can be more merciful than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Okay, any thoughts, reflections, questions? I just wanted to say something here. One more thing is that you see here, it says how I want to enjoy the sight of his eyebrows moving in this cunning way, and I want to see his fearful eyes and beautiful face. This is Mother Yashoda talking to Mukhara. Now, when Krishna enacts his pastimes, it is not like actors acting in a drama. When actors act in a drama, they're conscious that they're different people. They know it's a drama. So this is Krishna's pastimes with his associates. It's not like a drama. It's not like Krishna is thinking, oh, Mother Yashoda is standing there, but I'll act now. It's not like that. It's not like that. It is acting under the influence of Yogamaya. So Yogamaya, Purnamasi, she arranges all the pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan. So it is not like Krishna is in the back of his mind, he's thinking, oh, this is my mother. She's actually looking there. No, it's not like that. It is actually as we read it. That's very important. It's as we read it. So we don't have to speculate it and think, how is this possible? He's Supreme Lord. So won't he know? No, we don't have to speculate. We have to just take it as it is. This is exactly how it is happening. Krishna is actually fearful of his mother, and he's moving his eyebrows in this cunning way. All these things are as they are. The windows to the spiritual world. I wanted to know that is stealing propensity bad? Prabhupada actually answers this question. It's a good question, very good question. So in the conversations with Bob Cohen, who later became Brahmatirtha Prabhu, in Mayapur, Prabhupada, right in the beginning of the book, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, Prabhupada says Krishna is also the greatest rascal. So where is that rascaldom coming from? It's coming from Krishna, he says. But Krishna's rascaldom is glorified, it is relishable, it is purifying. But whereas when that rascaldom is exhibited by the conditioned souls, it is the exact opposite of it. So stealing is not bad when Krishna does it, but it is bad when the conditioned souls do it. Of course, you could also say that there was an Alvar, a great South Sri Vaishnava, in the Sri Vaishnava line, a great devotee who was a dacoit also. He would steal, but he would steal for Krishna. But that is not permitted for ordinary beings. He was an extraordinary person. So Prabhupada did not allow us to steal for Krishna. In fact, there is one very interesting pastime that happened in Australia during Prabhupada's time. That for one particular Rath Yatra, the devotees, they went to someone's orchard, flower orchard, and they went and stole all the flowers and came and offered it to Jagannath. So for the Rath Yatra, Jagannath Rath Yatra is coming up. So what happened was that this created a big stir, and it was reported also in a newspaper that the Hare Krishnas broke it, because the idea is everything is the property of God, right? So this flower actually belongs to Krishna. That was the idea. So then they broke into that this thing. They stole all the flowers, and later on, a few years later, the devotees had this idea to have a very nice garden, an orchard, where they can grow flowers to Krishna. And this is a few years later. And so the devotees who were trying to do this, they had no idea about what had happened a few years earlier. So they landed up in the orchard of the same person from whom the devotees had stolen a few years before. So they were trying to go and ask him to get some idea, or from some, because he's very experienced, right? And he's he's pretty famous in town probably. So then they wanted to learn from how to grow flowers nicely. So they knocked on the door and he saw, oh, these Hare Krishna devotees have come again. So he started screaming and yelling at them as, get out of this place, and they had to run away. So yeah. So the point is that when it is done by conditioned souls in the material world is bad, and when it's done by devotees for Krishna also it is bad, unless it is sanctioned by the pure devotees or Krishna. So that's Shashwati Radhika Mataji. Hope that answers your question. Anyway, a question made us remember this pastime of the Rath Yatra in Australia. Of course, definitely that person whose flowers got stolen got some benefit, but that's not the way the pure devotees like Prabhupada want us to do things. So we should, it may have benefited that person, but whether it benefited the people who actually stole and offered the flowers, I don't know.
Hare Krishna, Babuji.
Yes.
Ashwati Maji is writing, I
I
used to
used
see.
to steal flowers from my landlords for the Lord. Okay. Well, what should I say? May Krishna bless you.
So, Prabhuji, I've also heard that Malti Mataji used to steal butter from the butter truck to offer to the deities. And she also stole the small deity of Jagannath when she went to that antique store. And later she got Subhadra and Balram also, but she stole the first one. Is that correct also?
I don't know if she actually stole. Did she say that? It's at least that's not how I've read it, though. Did she say that in any memory session, or you heard it from someone?
I have heard it, yes. Either from her or I don't remember, but this butter stealing and this Jagannath stealing, I think I've heard it from her only.
Yeah. Well, you see, there was well, what should I say? I can't. This is a Zoom session which is being webcast, so I should be very careful of what I'm talking. So, okay, let me put it like this: that since Prabhupada did not want us to do anything illegal, anything which is against standard moral, standard things like we're not meant to steal unless, yeah, we're not meant to steal. Let me just stick with that.
Yes, yes, sorry.
Prabhuji, once heard in a class that Prabhupada said you can steal for Krishna but don't get caught. I don't have a reference though. Well, if you could bring that reference, at least I can repeat it. But I don't want to say something on my own, which Prabhupada is not sanctioned. But in any case, this is a very risky business. The problem is this, how do you say this? Let me put it like this. Like book distribution. Prabhupada said, by hook or crook, distribute a book. You know, Prabhupada, I've read that letter also where Prabhupada says, by hook or crook, distribute a book. The problem is with this is not problem. Like, okay, like how there was Tripurari Swami. I think there's one lady who came and asked him, is this book about power shortage in America? And he said yes, and he sold the book. You know, of course, it is for all. It is about all kinds of shortages, how to overcome the shortage. So Prabhupada laughed when he heard that story. However, he clearly said, I mean, so when he says by hook or crook sell a book, there is this saying that the logic generally is the end justifies the means. You know, what has happened in ISKCON is devotees took it too far. So if end justifies the means, the question is, where does it end? You know, this is where the question. This is what the real question is all about. The end justifies the means. Where does it end actually? Because our devotees can carry it to all kinds of crazy extents. You know, so yes, so that we should be careful. Stealing in general is not like, I don't know how to put it. Okay, let's understand a basic aspect of our philosophy. Okay, let's say somebody has got money. Then you could say that, okay, you can be a pickpocket also for Krishna. You'll steal somebody's money and give to Krishna. The idea is that Krishna has entrusted something to someone. Okay. So the actual understanding of Krishna consciousness is, otherwise what happens is that we can also think, you know, that what every devotee has also belongs to us, right? Because it all belongs to Krishna ultimately. There is a problem there because with that logic, because Krishna has entrusted it to someone, right? So stealing means to take away something from someone which Krishna has entrusted to them, right? So the right thing to do would be to approach them in a gentle manner and try to get that for Krishna's service. That is the gentlemanly way of doing things. Now, if you want to do it in something else, very risky, very risky. Yeah, unless, that's what I'm saying, unless the pure devotee has said something, we have to examine it. But as they say, do not try to imitate, follow in the footsteps. So which means that this Alvar in South India, okay, he was a dacoit and he was stealing money for Krishna. We can't do it because that's why they're extraordinary people, right? Even when Prabhupada has presented the argument that Jesus ate meat, Prabhupada first of all said that Jesus said, do not kill and all those things. So finally, at one point, I mean, so this would keep coming up. At one point, when Prabhupada was brought, when this argument was brought forward to Prabhupada, he said that Jesus Christ did so many other things. He gave his life to God. He died for God and all this. He said, first of all, do everything that Jesus Christ has done. Then you eat meat. So topics like this about stealing, we have to see, like for example, that Alvar did it. Okay, but have we done all that the great devotee has done? So we have to be careful in those kind of discussions, especially if it deals with illegality, stealing, things like that. Yeah. But when Krishna does it, we are all reading it. It's very religious. Okay. So if there are no further reflections, thoughts, or questions, we can go ahead.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 13th chapter, verse 33, Shukadev Goswami tells King Parikshit, "My dear king, as soon as the elderly gopis saw their sons coming, there was an inexpressible sign of parental love, and all of them became absorbed in affection. At first, they were planning to chastise their sons for stealing butter, but as soon as the sons came before their eyes, they lost all of their angry attitudes and became overwhelmed with affection. They began to embrace their sons and smell their heads. While doing this, they became almost mad after their children. In their childhood pastimes, all these cowherd boys joined with Krishna in stealing butter. But rather than become angry, Mother Yashoda became wet from the milk floating out of her breast. Out of her affection for Krishna, she began to smell his head repeatedly." The journal.
Mataji, I think you're in ecstasy because you said milk flowing out of the breast. You read it as milk floating. You're probably in ecstasy.
Milk flowing.
Yeah. I mean, floating is also okay when you are ecstatic. It's
Okay, I'm so sorry.
no, that's okay. Go ahead.
The general activities of all the mothers of the cowherd boys were to kiss them, to embrace them, to call them by their names, and sometimes to chastise them mildly for their stealing habits. Their manifestations of parental love are called sattvika ecstasy, wherein manifestations of 8 kinds of aesthetic symptoms are visible in full. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 13th chapter, verse 22, Shukdev Goswami tells King Parikshit, all the mothers of the cohort boys were illusioned by the covering influence of the Yoga Maya potency of the personality of Godhead. And as soon as they heard the flute playing of their boys, they immediately stood up and mentally embraced their sons, who had been created by the direct internal potency of Krishna. Accepting them as their born sons, they lifted them into their arms and began to embrace them, resting the children's bodies upon their own. The emotions created by this incident were sweeter than nectar turned into a palatable intoxicant, and the milk flowing out of their breasts was immediately drunk by the children. In the Lalit Madhav, compiled by Rupa Goswami, Krishna is addressed as follows. My dear Krishna, when you are engaged in herding the animals, the dust caused by the hoofs of the calves and cows covers your nice face and artistic tilak, and you appear very dusty. But when you return home, the milk flowing out of the breast of your mother washes your face of its dust covering, and you appear to be purified by this milk, just as when the deity is washed during the performance of the Abhishek ceremony. It is the custom in the temples of deities that if there have been some impure activities, the deity has to be washed with milk. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was washed by the milk from the breast of Mother Yashoda, which purified him from the dust covering. Sometimes there are examples of Mother Yashodas becoming stunned in ecstasy. This was exhibited when she saw her son lifting over the hill. When Krishna was standing, raising the hill, Mother Yashoda hesitated to embrace him and became stunned. The dangerous position the dangerous position that Krishna had accepted by lifting the hill brought tears to her eyes. With her eyes filled with tears, she could not see Krishna anymore. And because her throat was choked up by anxiety, she could not even instruct Krishna as to what he should do in that position. This is the symptom of becoming stunned in aesthetic love. Mother Yashoda sometimes enjoyed transcendental ecstasy in happiness when her child was saved from a dangerous situation, such as being attacked by Putana or some another demon. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 17th chapter, verse 19, Shukadev Goswami says that Mother Yashoda felt very, very fortunate when she got back her lost child. She immediately placed him on her lap and began to embrace him again and again. While she was thus embracing her son repeatedly, torrents of tears fell from her eyes, and when and she was unable to express her transcendental joy. It is stated in the Vigad Madhav of Srila Rupa Goswami, my dear Krishna, the touch of your mother is so pleasing and cooling that it surpasses the cooling capacity of the pulp of sandalwood and of bright moonshine mixed with the pulp of Ushira root. Ushira is a kind of root which, when soaked with water, has a very, very cooling effect. It is specially used in the scorching heat of the sun.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Can you just stop there?
Yes.
Does anyone know what is the Zushira root? Is it available these days? Or I have not seen it, at least. Since you're all from North India, maybe it's there in that part. So Zushira root. We can look up in Wikipedia probably. Suchisrita Mataji, you can continue now.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
The parental love of Mother Yashoda for Krishna steadily increases, and her love and ecstasy are sometimes described as intense affection and sometimes as overwhelming attachment. An example of attachment for Krishna with overwhelming affection is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 6th chapter, verse 43, where Sukdev Goswami addresses Maharaj Dikshit in this way. My dear king, when magnanimous Nand Maharaj returned from Mathura, he began to smell the head of his son, and he was merged in ecstasy of parental love. A similar statement is there in connection with Mother Yashoda when she was too anxious to hear the sound of Krishna's flute, expecting him back from the pasturing grounds. Because she thought that it was getting very late, her anxiety to hear the sound of Krishna's flute became doubled, and milk began to flow from her breast. In that condition, she was sometimes going within the house, sometimes coming out of the house. She was constantly looking to see if Govinda was coming back along the road. When many such great sages were offering prayers to Lord Krishna, glorifying his activities, the queen of Gokula, Mother Yashoda, entered the battlefield of Kurukshetra, wetting the lower part of her sari with the milk flowing from her breast. This entrance of Mother Yashoda at Kurukshetra was not during the battle of Kurukshetra. At other times, Krishna went to Kurukshetra from his parental home, Dwarka, during the solar eclipse And at these times, the residents of Vrindavan also went to see him there. When Krishna arrived at Kurukshetra on pilgrimage, all the people assembled there began to say that Krishna, the son of Devaki, had arrived. At that time, Devaki, just like an affectionate mother, began to pat Krishna's face. And again, when people cried that Krishna, the son of Vasudev, had come, both King Nand and Mother Yashoda became overwhelmed with affection and expressed their great pleasure. When Mother Yashoda, the queen of Gokul, was going to see her son Krishna at Kurukshetra, one of her friends addressed her thus: "My dear queen, the milk flowing out of your breast mountain has already whitened the river Ganges, and the tears from your eyes, mixed with black mascara, have already blackened the color of the Yamuna. And as you are standing just between the two rivers, I think that there is no need for your anxiety to see your son's face. Your parental affection has already been exhibited to him by these two rivers." The same friend of Mother Yashoda addressed Krishna as follows: "My dear Mukund, if Mother Yashoda, the queen of Gokul, is forced to stand on fire but is allowed to see your lotus face, then this fire will appear to her like the Himalaya mountains, full of ice. In the same way, if she is allowed to stay in the ocean of nectar but is not allowed to see the lotus face of your grace, then even this ocean of nectar will appear to her like an ocean of arsenic poison. Let the anxiety of Mother Yashoda of Vraj, always expecting to see the lotus face of Krishna, be glorified all over the universe." A similar statement was given by Kunti Devi to Akrur: "My dear brother Akrur, my nephew Mukunda is long absent from us. Will you kindly tell him that his aunt Kunti is sitting among the enemy and would like to know when she will be able to see his lotus face again?"
These are very, very beautiful descriptions. Very beautiful. You can see how the comparisons are given of how, Mother Yashoda feels for Krishna, how Kunti Devi feels for Krishna. They're all in parental love, actually. Kunti Devi also. She belongs to the, she displays parental affection towards Krishna because she is her aunt. Please go ahead.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 46th chapter, verse 28, there is this statement: "When Uddhava was present at Vrindavan and was narrating the activities of Krishna in Dwarka, Mother Yashoda, while hearing this narration, began to pour milk from her breasts and shed tears from her eyes." Another incident demonstrating Yashoda's extreme love for Krishna occurred when Krishna went to Mathura, the kingdom of Kans. In separation from Krishna, Mother Yashoda was looking at Krishna's makeup utensils, and she fell down on the ground, almost unconscious, with a great sound. When she was rolling over on the ground, there were many scratches on her body, and in that piteous condition, she began to cry, "Oh, my dear son, my dear son." And she slapped her breasts with her two hands. This activity of Mother Yashoda is explained by expert devotees in ecstatic love, in separation. Sometimes there are many other symptoms, such as great anxiety, lamentation, frustration, being stunned. I lost the. You were reading?
What happened?
Yeah, being stunned, humility, restlessness, madness, and illusion. As far as Mother Yashoda's anxieties are concerned, when Krishna was out of the house in the pasturing ground, a devotee once told her, Yashoda, I think your movements have been slackened, and I see that you are full of anxieties. Your two eyes appear to be without any movement, and I feel in your breathing a kind of warmth, which is bringing your breast's milk to the boiling point. All these conditions prove that out of separation from your son, you have a severe headache. These are some of the symptoms of Mother Yashoda's anxiety for Krishna. When Akrur was present in Vrindavan and was narrating the activities of Krishna in Dwarka, Mother Yashoda was informed that Krishna had married so many queens and was very busy there in his household affairs. Hearing this, Mother Yashoda lamented how unfortunate she was that she could not get her son married just after he passed his Kishore age, and that she therefore could not receive both her son and daughter-in-law at her home. She exclaimed, My dear Akrur, you are simply throwing thunderbolts on my head. These are signs of lamentation on the part of Mother Yashoda in separation from Krishna. Similarly, Mother Yashoda felt frustration when she thought, although I have millions of cows, the milk of these cows could not satisfy Krishna. Therefore, let a curse be on this milk. And I also am condemned because although I am so opulent in material prosperity, I am now unable to smell the head of my child and feed him with my breast milk, as I used to do when he was here in Vrindavan. This is a sign of frustration on the part of Mother Yashoda in separation from Krishna. One friend of Krishna's addressed him thus, My dear lotus-eyed one, when you were living in Gokul, you were always bearing a stick in your hand. That stick is now lying idle in the house of Mother Yashoda, and whenever she sees it, she becomes motionless, just like the stick. This is a sign of becoming stunned in separation from Krishna. In separation from Krishna, Mother Yashoda became so humble that she prayed to the creator of the universe, Lord Brahma, with tears in her eyes. My dear creator, won't you kindly bring my son, dear son Krishna, back to me so that I can see him at least for a moment? Sometimes in restlessness, like a mad woman, Mother Yashoda used to accuse Nand Maharaj. What are you doing in the palace, you shameless man? Why do people call you the king of Raj? It is very astonishing that while being separated from your dear son Krishna, you are still living within Vrindavan as a hard-hearted father. Someone informed Krishna about the madness of Mother Yashoda in the following words. In madness, Mother Yashoda has addressed the Kadamba trees and inquired from them, Where is my son? Similarly, she has addressed the birds and the drones and inquired from them whether Krishna has passed before them. And she has inquired if they can say anything about you. In this way, Mother Yashoda, in illusion, was asking everybody about you, and she has been wandering all over Vrindavan. This is madness in separation from Krishna. When Nand Maharaj was accused by Mother Yashoda of being hard-hearted, he replied, "My dear Yashoda, why are you becoming so agitated? Kindly look more carefully. Just see, your son Krishna is standing before you. Don't become a mad woman like this. Please keep my home peaceful." And Krishna was informed by some friend that his father Nand was also an illusion in this way, in separation from him. When all the wives of Vasudeva were present in the arena of Kans, they saw the most pleasing bodily features of Krishna, and immediately, out of parental affection, milk began to flow from their breasts, and the lower parts of their saris became wet. This system of aesthetic love is an example of the result of fulfillment of desire. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th chapter, verse 29, it is stated, when Krishna entered Dwarka after finishing the battle of Kurukshetra, he first of all saw his mother and all his different stepmothers and offered his respectful obeisances unto their feet. The mothers immediately took Krishna upon their laps, and because of their parental affection, there was milk flowing out of their breasts. So their breast milk, mixed with the waters of tears, became the first offering to Krishna. This is one of the examples of being satisfied after a great separation. There is a similar statement in the Lalita Madhav. How wonderful it is that Yashoda, the wife of King Nand, out of her parental affection for Krishna, mixed her tears and the milk from her breasts and thus bathed her dear son Krishna. In Vidhag Madhav, a devotee addresses Lord Krishna as follows. My dear Mukund, just after seeing your face, which was full with the scent of the lotus flower, Mother Yashoda, being attracted by the moonlight of your face, became so overjoyed in her affection that immediately from the nipples of her water pot-like breasts, milk began to flow. She was thus constantly engaged in supplying milk to Krishna after wetting the covering cloth over the jug. These are some of the signs of parental love for Krishna by his mother, his father, and elderly persons. Symptoms of aesthetic love and parental affection are expressed when Krishna is accepted as the son. These constant transcendental emotions for Krishna are called steady ecstasy in parental love. Srila Rupa Goswami states herein that according to some learned scholars, the three kinds of transcendental mellows so far described, namely servitude, fraternity, and parental affection, are sometimes mixed. For example, the fraternal feelings of Balram are mixed with servitude and parental affection. Similarly, King Yudhishthira's attraction for Krishna is also mixed with parental affection and servitude. Similarly, the transcendental mellow of Ugrasen, Krishna's grandfather, is mixed with servitude and parental affection. The affection of all the elderly gopis in the Vrindavan is a mixture of parental love, servitude, and fraternity. The affection of the sons of Madri, Nakul, and Sahadev, as well as the affection of the sage Narad, is a mixture of friendship and servitude. The affection of Lord Shiv, Garud, and Uddhav is a mixture of servitude and fraternity. Hare Krishna.
Jai. What a chapter. Okay. There's something on the chat, I guess. Oh, it's Kaskas, is it? Oh, Ushira's Kaskas. Oh. What does it say here? I mean, if it is mixed with, it's soaked with water, which means it has to be consumed orally, or
Prabhuji, we can use khaskhas even in milk. I mean, like you can make a drink out of that.
what we can use?
Soaked. It's soaked. You can soak it in water, or you can, yeah, and it just swells up a little bit. And you can have it as a drink, in a drink also, and water or in milk, or I think you can have it as a drink as well. You soak it in that.
You know, I think that this is banned in Middle East. I think you're not allowed to take kaskas in the Middle East, or is it the same as poppy seed? I don't know. It's kaskas, and well, Arshita Mataji and Radhakishori Mataji have posted something from Wikipedia. First one says kaskas, second says just kas. Vetiver is kas. Anyway, Ramachan in Malayalam. Botanical name is, yeah, it's the same thing actually. What Radhakishori Mataji and Arshita Mataji has put. When the biological name is the same, Vetiveria zizanioides. Okay. Any thoughts, reflections? Anything you want to share about today's reading?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam. May I ask a question?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Prabhuji, like I always wonder, in the Krishna book, it says that all the Vrajvasis are under yoga maya, so none of them know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But then when they are in danger, so why do they call out to Krishna for help? Like Maharaj considers him as his son. So when he is being swallowed by the snake, so why does he call out to his son for help? Like no father would call out to the son. Here also we read one line where it is said that if Mother Yashoda is standing in the ocean of nectar but not able to see the face of your grace. So for a child, you did not use such words. So if they consider Krishna as only their child, why do such expressions are used? And why do the Vrajvasis call out?
Here their expressions of affection, right? There's got nothing to do with fear, no? Where did you find here, wherever we read so far? I didn't come across a place where there's a danger and they're thinking of Krishna at that point.
No, danger not here. Like in Krishna book, many instances are there when the Vrajvasis are in danger, then they call out to Krishna.
When Krishna, for example, what the Vrajavasis think is Narayana protected Krishna and things like that. They don't. Yeah. Again, okay. Whatever instances are there where they're calling out to Krishna, it's just the nature of the. It does not. They're not calling out to Krishna because he's God. He's all that they know of. That's it. It's not a. I don't know how to put it. It's like anyway. You just bring out the particular instance. I don't know whether. I mean, what we're talking and what you're asking is the same. So if you can bring out next class, you can just bring out some particular reference and we can see and examine what exactly is going on there.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. There's a book, there's a chapter called Wonderful Krishna, where the Vrajavasis think, oh, Krishna is wonderful. After that, again, they forget. Yes. Yes, Manju.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, it says that in the spiritual world also, Krishna goes away to Mathura, right?
Krishna goes away from where?
From Vrindavan to Mathura.
No, actually, what do you say? In Goloka, Vrindavan, Krishna, there is no actual separation. There is only the I don't know how to put it. There is only the fear of separation. It's like that. Gopi Paranda Prabhu explains that in his lectures on pure devotion of Uddhava. In the material world, when Krishna exhibits his pastimes, he's generally depicted as in one place at one time. Except of course you could say that 16,108 queens. There's a description of how he saw one Krishna everywhere. But generally, in the pastimes in the material world, generally he's depicted as one place at one time, and then he goes. That's how he's depicted as. But in the spiritual world, it is more like, how do you say? There is a. I mean, I'll look up Gopi Paranda's exact expression, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, that it is not pretty sure. I'm 100% sure that he did mention that there is no actual. It's not like Krishna. When they talk about separation in the spiritual world, it's more like the fear of separation, like that. And he references from Brihad Bhagavatamrita and the Bhagavatam and things like that. So he's not speaking from the top of his own mind. He's just with proper references, he establishes the point that there's only a feeling of separation. I mean, there's a fear of separation.
Prabhuji, I have read this in Brihad Bhagavatamrita that Krishna actually goes away, and I don't know how, I don't remember the purport exactly, but Krishna actually goes away, and he goes away for a week, someone said. I'm not sure where I heard it, but I was actually, because I clearly remember this happening in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, because I was appalled and I paused my reading and I checked with Venu Krishna Prabhu. I said, what is happening? Even in Golok Vrindavan, Krishna is leaving. So
well, see, what you can do. What you can do is that I'll send you a link, or on the group I'll send you a link to Gopi Parananda Prabhu's lectures because he was the one who commented on the Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
yes.
So you can hear those lectures. Well, I mean, those lectures, I don't know what's going to happen to you after you hear those lectures. They're from some other dimension. It's like amazing lecture. It's called the Pure Devotion of Uddhava. And it's like how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, right? I mean, like Lochan Das Thakur says, anybody who hears I mean, the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even the birds and beasts will cry in ecstasy. The rocks will melt. That's how Pashana Vidare, even the rocks will melt. Pashupati Jure, Pashana Vidare. So even the birds, animals, they'll all sing in ecstasy. So like that, if you hear that series of lectures on pure devotion of Uddhava, however hard our heart may be, it will melt. It has to melt. So it's like those lectures are really amazing. I can send the link. You can hear those lectures. It's actually 10 lectures, each spanning more than an hour. It was actually a series. It's a seminar which he gave in Mayapur at the Mayapur Institute. You can hear some voices asking questions, like Bhakti Vigna Vinash Narsimha Maharaj was one of his. I had attended that seminar, so you can hear. I didn't know that he had attended, but when you hear the questions that are being asked to him in that talk, in this thing, you can. So that will change your life forever. Hearing those lectures of the pure devotion of Uddhava.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think you've shared that link previously.
Okay.
That website link you've already shared.
Okay.
Yeah.
So please hear those lectures. You'll get a better insight into what's actually happening in terms of because when Krishna doesn't leave Vrindavan, right? So proper rites of Krishna remains in Vrindavan in this bhava form. So anyway, so there are a lot of things are, I'm not so qualified to speak in a few minutes what he spoke in 10 hours. But anyway, there he brings out in great detail what actually is going on. Even when Uddhava, when he enters into Vrindavan, he doesn't see the Vrindavan which is actually described in the Bhagavatam. Krishna gives him a different vision because the Vrindavan that is described in the Bhagavatam in terms of, or general description of Vrindavan after Krishna leaves is like it was like a desert. Govardhan was sinking and things like that. But that's not what Uddhava sees when he enters into Vrindavan. He sees everything as when Krishna had not left Vrindavan. Krishna gives him a different vision, which is actually not, it's not like some, it's actually, how do you say, it is actually, that is also going on there in Vrindavan. Yeah.
Prabhuji, what is the URL? What is the website address? I'm forgetting.
I'll send you the link, Mother. It's called Servant of Prabhupada.
Servant of
Yeah.
Prabhupada.
See, what happened was the devotee who had maintained that somehow he missed the deadline for the hosting, and then so it went down, but again it's back up. But I don't know if all of it is there. The lectures of Uddhava are definitely there. So I'll send you a link with this thing on the group again. So
Thank you so
you can
much.
click on that link and here.
Yes, Prabhuji. I will hear those. Yes, thank you.
Okay, so it's a wonderful evening today. What to say? Our lives become so happy when we hear these pastimes of Krishna. We'll resume again. Next week is conjugal love. Krishna's pastimes, the residents of Vrindavan feeling conjugal love for Krishna. Okay, so thank you all very much. I'll send the link.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you have something to say, someone?
Guruji, there's a question on the chat.
It is separation only. I mean, the question is, in the spiritual world, there's no separation. There is separation. How do you say it? It is the same experience. It's not like the experience of separation is different. They experience separation, even in the spiritual world. When it says fear of separation, it is experience of separation also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you just again explain this? We're just talking about this fear of separation in the spiritual world. The fear of separation is the fall down? Is that
no, not that for no, not for not that. Thank you for bringing up the no, not that fear of separation. The Krishna will go away like that. Not that I will go away. Not that I will fall down.
Spiritual world, everybody is there, right, Prabhuji? Then where is the question of separation there?
No, they want to be with Krishna. No, Krishna will go away.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
They constantly want to be with Krishna, so the feeling that Krishna will go away. That's falling down is we will go away, but that's not what is being referred. Their thing is okay, Krishna will go away.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Arshita Mataji has posted this question from Nanda Maharaj taken away, but Nanda's companions began to loudly call for Krishna and Balaram. Immediately, Krishna and Balaram could understand that Nanda Maharaj had been taken by a servant of Varuna. Well, it doesn't say here that they were. It doesn't say there that at that point in time they had, for momentarily they thought of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He doesn't say that, so they call it for Krishna. Well, see, normally what happens is that the pastimes of Krishna, every single aspect of his pastimes, have to be explained by the acharyas. So if there is no explanation by the acharyas, Hare Krishna, Hari Bol, sorry for the interruption. Uh, every single aspect of Krishna's pastimes have to be explained with acharyas. So even when they think, oh, is my son Narayan, whatever, like it is explained by the acharyas. Okay, they thought like this, So here it is not explained, so it's not explained. That's it. So if I mean, we have to read a little bit ahead and before. Then if Prabhupada or the acharyas have explained, okay, at this point in time, they were thinking that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore they appeal to him for help, then we take it like that. Otherwise, we just take it as this is what happened, that's it. Because it's not that when they forget Krishna, it is not that forget the Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead. That forgetfulness is not like our forgetfulness. It's not like our forgetfulness. That is like a stage above remembrance. The stage above remembrance that Krishna Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ours is a stage below remembrance. That is something which we have to keep in mind. When they forget Krishna, that is a stage above remembrance of Krishna. When we forget Krishna, it is a stage below remembrance of Krishna. It's like that. So, as they say, it also includes something higher. Also includes the previous. So it is not that they do not know that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they've transcended that understanding. That's so when they call out like this, we have to see what the acharyas have said. Have they said it that at this point in time they were thinking that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead? Were they thinking like that and calling, or they were just calling because of the fact that they just depended on Krishna for everything? What is it? So we have to see what the acharyas explain. So I don't want to comment on it unless I see what Prabhupada has said there fully before and after that, whatever you posted, and see what the acharyas have said. So until then, we just take it as it is. All right. So anything else? We don't have our Anandita Janava Mataji. Usually she has the last word.
Yeah, she
Okay,
just
so
posted on the group that she's unable to join today.
Oh, okay. Anyway, you can tell her that we were remembering her.
Yes, she will hear the recording.
Okay, sure. Okay, so thank you all very much. So we'll resume next Thursday. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubheva Pitanam Bhavati.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.